What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Ticker Feed video and welcome to the Ticker Feed family. So today what we're going to be talking about is ticker symbol LKCO. Now the good news, which is really good news, is that it's climbing today as investors got a shot of hope that the company could stay away from the delisting from the NASDAQ exchange following an earlier order from the Department of Defense requiring a group of Chinese companies providing aid to the Chinese military from becoming delisted. So it's really good news, and the reason why is because there's a ticker symbol XIACY, and there's a significance to it. Okay, so they were able to block the Defense Department from restricting the American investment in the Chinese smartphone giant, and so that's what I'm going to be talking about today, guys. So again, I really do appreciate you tuning into this video, and as always, welcome to the Ticker Feed family, and let's go ahead and get started. So if you don't know anything about Luokung or ticker symbol LKCO, I always like taking the time just to share a little bit of the summary of this company. So I'm going to read this snippet and then I'm going to get straight to the news. So based on the full vector non-slice map technology, they provide real-time spatial temporal computation and intelligent POI recommendation services for complex scenarios combining persons, vehicles, locations, and they put on there and things. Based on our spatial temporal data engine, they provide management, query, and analysis services for more than 1 trillion tracks of people and vehicles. Now, these vehicle tracking management systems, which has been operating for 3 years, they provide real-time query functionalities in 4 dimensions. They do it by time, space, ID, and logical association of time and space. So based on their spatial temporal cloud index technology, a data fusion service across multiple databases and indexes in smart transportation, which has been established to break the barriers among B clouds and to support special business needs. So it's a really good company that has really great technology, and so I want you to keep that in mind as you're hearing this news. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I really do appreciate it as well. So let's continue to look through this company. So I've got 2 segments that I'm going to talk about. So with ticker symbol XIACY, the shares of the consumer electronics maker surged as much as 12% on Monday, the biggest intraday gain in almost a month. Under the Trump administration, the Defense Department placed XIAOMI on a list of companies with alleged links to the Chinese military, triggered financial restrictions that were set to go into effect next week. U.S. District Judge Rudolph Contreras on Friday put a temporary halt to the ban, siding with XIAOMI in a lawsuit that argued that the move was arbitrary and crazy and deprived the company of its due process rights. So he says it was likely to win a full reversal of the ban as the litigation unfolds and issues an initial injunction to prevent the company from suffering irreparable harm. After the ban was announced, the smartphone manufacturer faced the prospect of being delisted from U.S. exchanges, deleted from global benchmark indexes, wiping out as much as $44 billion from its market value. So, Bloomberg Intelligence says that this company could reverse negative market sentiment on a temporary injunction against a U.S. investment ban, coupled with its announced HK $10 billion buyback plan. Despite improving fundamentals, the smartphone maker's share price is down 22.5% since the ban was announced on January 15. Now, this company remains well positioned to keep capturing market share amid the retreatment and drive average prices and margin higher with the rollout of the 5G devices. Now, funded more than a decade ago by a billionaire called Li Jun, is the 3rd largest smartphone manufacturer in the world by volume. In the 3rd quarter, it surpassed Apple Inc. in smartphone sales according to IDC. Now, this company has attracted a suite of American investors from Qualcomm Inc. to Vanguard Group and BlackRock, according to the data compiled by Bloomberg. So those are major companies, so that's a big deal, and this is great news. So I'm extremely happy for LKCO. This is the type of stuff that I wanted to know. Now, this company plans to continue to request that the court declare the labeling of its connection to the military as unlawful and to permanently remove the designation according to the company's statement. Now, in November, former President Trump signed an order barring American investment in Chinese firms owned or controlled by the military in bid to pressure Beijing over what the U.S. has described as abusive business practices. So that's the type of information I wanted to know. Now let's go ahead and look at the other summary. So here's the great news. With that being said, with the ticker symbol XIACY, the announcement also lifted shares of Luokung, a Chinese mapping technology company, right? So this is the company we're talking about, ticker LKCO, as it seemed to convince investors that Luokung could get a similar reprieve. So last week, Luokung also said that it had received a letter from the Treasury Department saying that any restrictions on the stocks would not take effect until May 8th, which I talked about in the previous video, from March 15th start date, right? So that was just yesterday. So that by itself to me is great news. So effectively giving the company close to 2 months to win a reprieve, just like the other company did. So I want to keep that in mind. I mean, this is the news that I want to hear. I mean, because before it was like, well, you just didn't know. Where was this going to lead? Are we going to have to pivot? Are we going to have to go this way? Are we going to have to go that way? What are we going to do to prove to, the department that this is a legit company and this is a really good company with great technology? And so for me, seeing this gets me excited. This gives me that opportunity to know that growth is going to continue to just go further and just kind of keep continuing that upward trend like we've been looking at. So with that being said, currently we'll check out the chart. But again, this is great news, and that's what I wanted to let y'all know and share that with y'all. So just giving you a perspective with the ticker symbol XIACY. You can see that they create these type of phones. So they've got the MI11, the 10T Pro, the 10T, the Lite, whatever the case is. Now looking also, they've got TVs. So LED TV, the 4S, the 4S55, the Q175. So the type of devices that they have, I mean, you've got the smart clock, the smart band 5, the true wireless earphones. So they're a legit company, right? I mean, even light bulbs to a pro scooter from Mercedes-AMG F1 Team Edition. I mean, they've got all sorts of type of products, and clearly they're doing something right. And so it's kind of interesting that has taken place, but they also have, as I mentioned earlier, really good news. And so I just wanted to kind of show you, just so you can kind of get an idea on the perspective between the two companies. Again, this is a legit company that's has all sorts of type of products that you can choose from. And so I just wanted to show that. And so let's go ahead and look at the chart and wrap this up. Okay, so currently if you're looking at the chart for ticker symbol XIACY, it's at $14.70. So it opened up at $14.15, a high of $14.70 and a low of $14.02 on March 12th at 4 p.m. And it did have a 52-week high of $23.34. So now looking at the ticker symbol LKCO, or Luokung Technology, it's currently at $1.46. Now if you're looking at the trend line, it has stayed pretty equivalent. It hasn't, the resistance is not what you would think, right? Because again, it is a really good technology, and knowing that ticker symbol XIACY has had that great news, I feel like Luokung Technology is going to have the same news or even better. And so just looking at this gives me some hope, right? And that gives me an opportunity to think long term, right? Because it's written down. This is statistics and proof, right? This is not just something that we're thinking about, right? That other company has had that catalyst take place. And so for us, I think this is really good news too. So again, looking at it, it's staying stable. So that's what I like to see. Again, the technology itself is really good, and so 52-week high of $3.86, which is always good, especially for a penny stock. I mean, 52 weeks ago it was at 34 cents, right? So for me, I mean, this is really still good news, but I wanted to express that news and that information, you know, so depending on what kind of decision you're trying to make, hopefully this helps. So guys, I really hope that this video has added some value, and I really do appreciate you tuning in and listening. As always, guys, welcome to the Ticker Fee family, and I really do appreciate it.